episode of The Ghost in the Magazine. I'm Steph.
And I'm Elle.
And I'm Nathan.
Nathan! And this week's movie was, oh God, it was Trancers. And it's literally Elle's favorite dude, but in big size and not fun size.
He's no longer fun size, and now his name is Grandpa Jack Megadeth instead of Grandpa Brick Highcock. So his pants are medium instead of high. So
he's a bit younger.
You know,
I honestly just forget what his actual name is, like, and what any of his names are.
Tim Thomerson, Grandpa Brick Bardo Highcock, and then Grandpa Jack Megadeth.
You can call him by any of them, and he'll say,
Call you Squid.
Yeah, he call you Squid.
This movie's weird and a little bit boring. And it was very hard for me to follow. And I watched it in 2 parts because I have ADHD.
I watched this shit 3 times and I still am not 100% sure what was going on. And I'm sitting here reading the wiki article, laughing my balls off. So
I can give like a kindergartner's recap of this movie. So in every fucking universe, this man plays some kind of intergalactic cop or intertime cop. He's a cop. And
ACAB includes Grandpa Jack Megadeth.
Especially in this movie, okay? And so his job, I guess, is to stop these Trancer things, and they're like zombies.
They've been mind controlled by Whistler.
Okay, and Whistler is a crazy drug time traveler.
Cult leader who looks like the guy from Unsolved Mysteries.
He does.
Boy.
Bizarro Unsolved Mysteries guy is the version of him in a universe where he just decided to do bad things. So
I also feel like the setting when they are forward in their time looked like the prequel world for Star Wars. All of the neon shit.
Yeah, I was just waiting for some Cantina music. I was just very, very lost. He like quit his job at one point because they were trying to tell him what to do, and he was like, fuck you, and threw his badge. And I'm like, wow, that's very badass of you. Wow. You're so cool.
I think he's grumpy because he didn't
He
take
is.
his vitamins and drink his Metamucil.
Yeah, but you know what happens when you're vitamin deficient? You become ragu. So take your
True.
fucking vitamins, old man, and like get with the program. So they drag him back because, what was it, Whistler's not dead? He thought that Whistler was dead.
He destroyed Whistler's body, apparently. And I found this out
Yeah.
by reading the wiki page. So Grandpa thinks that the Trancers that he's coming across are just stragglers that are still like entranced by the force from Whistler or
Okay,
whatever.
but like, if he's dead, wouldn't the force dissipate like vampire rules?
If he's a Jedi, no. The force is always there.
Spoilers.
Usually when we record, I have notes, but I could not follow this movie.
Yeah.
I was very sober both times that I attempted to watch this. And they drag him back. At first, they're like, you're the best man for the job. But then they try to pull him out later and say, you're terrible. You're the worst man.
In the diner, McNulty or whatever the fuck, which is like the most 80s cop name ever, said he was a good cop till a Trancer killed his wife. Like he was getting in trouble for being a hothead. It was very Lethal Weapon. You're getting in trouble because you destroyed everything to get the bad guy.
He didn't want to follow the rules. He was like, I want to do this shit my way. When they drag him back, he goes on this mission and they give him this super cool fucking watch that will elongate 10 seconds. But that's not real because it was so, when he used it, it was so long.
An elderly Neo. Just like
wait,
watching
wait.
the bullet.
Yeah, like what the fuck, dude?
His hip breaks.
No, I'm upset. I'm mad about it and I don't care.
I guarantee, yeah, if you go back and watch that, it felt like a long time. It felt like a minute.
It was
the
so
whole thing.
long.
Mhm.
It was so long. Okay. And so for them to go back into stupid time, I'm sorry, I'm mad all over again. I didn't realize I was so bad at this movie.
Just think about how sexy he is. It'll calm you down. It's okay.
Where? Like, I'm sure he's got 12 million little white hairs coming out of his ears because that's how old he is. L.
Hey, not yet. This is 1984. He's a strapped young lad.
I love that this
Yo.
is set in 1985 and it's my birthday movie.
Listen, you're allowed to
Oh,
be
shit,
obsessed
yeah.
with him if you want to. I decline. Politely.
I understand.
I decline.
You're more of a
Um,
Stefan girl. I'm more of a Grandpa Highcock girl.
Yeah, but Stefan in this movie, okay, but then I would get jealous because Helen Hunt's so cute. Okay, so to go back in stupid time, they can only jump into the bodies of their ancestors. And so he jumps into the body of, what's his name?
Can I say this with a straight face? It
Can
is
you?
Phil Deathton.
Phil Defton, and his name's Jack Death.
Yeah, how does that
Megadeth.
work? How does your last name change over time? That doesn't make any fucking sense.
It doesn't unless you're in the old days. That's when those shit started migrating, like when people were immigrants and things like that. Not
1984, Los Angeles.
that was a reach, bro.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they do that with Ashby and Ash too later.
I'm telling you, they should have left it Phil Death because then it's like Till Death, and that's cool. Phil
Yeah.
That's
Death,
metal.
then-
I have a feeling this guy was an accountant or something because he had like nerd clothes. Nathan's getting
Yeah.
all
His,
Forgot.
sorry.
forgot.
I'm not an actual accountant, so I don't care.
You just
That's
went to
like
school
4
for
years.
it. It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't go to school long enough though.
Cool, because otherwise it would have started to infect your closet, and then we would have had to roast you softly.
Yeah, if you become a squid, I'm gonna fight you.
It's roasting time. So when he jumps into Phil Defton's body, he's in bed with little Helen Hunt, who looks like a child. I'm sorry.
Only
Yeah,
squids
no, I
have
agree.
dry hair.
Best line in the movie.
And that's the line he brings to the evil bong too. But we
Yeah, that
didn't
we thought was
understand
square.
it. Yeah.
Well, that's because I was really high when I watched that movie, and I had captions on, and it said swear.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Like the squid doesn't make sense. They were trying to make something happen there and it didn't.
Stop trying to make fetch happen, Grandpa. It's not gonna happen.
Now because of that, I'm gonna be defiant and call people squids.
Hey, I'm not gonna try and stop you, but I am gonna try and stop the madness that was happening during this movie because I didn't look to see how old Helen Hunt was in this movie, but she just looks really young.
I think she was like very young IRL, so let me look that up again.
I need to know now.
She was born in
That's awesome.
63, 73, 83. So 84, she would have been 21. And let's see, Tim Thomerson, he was born in 1946.
Holy fuck.
Oh, you're fucking lying.
No.
He's an old dirt fart.
Fucking barely beat the
He was
depression.
almost 40, but dude, okay, I am almost 40 and he looks like 100 years older than me. I'm just saying.
Yeah, because do you
old.
take your vitamins, bro?
I do.
Cocaine.
Okay.
Cocaine.
Oh,
Yeah, that's true. It was the cocaine 80s.
okay.
The only drug I'm on is Zyrtec.
I'm like the worst person on this podcast, but every time people start talking about cocaine, my immediate thought is that it's good for ADHD.
My immediate thought is cocaine, cringe fest.
Yes! and I always say cocaine Christmas because I like that better.
This is a Christmas movie.
Get out of my face.
Oh, yeah.
No,
There's
the best
another
Christmas
comparison to
movie-
Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
Is Lethal
Yeah.
Weapon a Christmas movie?
Kind of. It took place during Christmas. I think the main theme was Jingle Bell Rocks or whatever.
Yeah.
Which wasn't there a punk version of that or something in this?
Okay,
Punk
but
band.
that was so Elf Made Man. In my head lives a anarcho Christmas punk band called Elf Made Man. And I wrote the lyric down because it was so badass.
I could not understand the lyric.
I could. Instead of saying one horse open sleigh, they said fucked up and getting laid.
The fucking
CNB.
cheese, man.
I know, dude. Exactly.
I may be lactose intolerant, but load me up with that cheese any day.
Yeah.
His weird shit dazzles young ass Helen Hunt. She follows him around the city like a puppy, which at first I was like, but then I thought back to that movie that we covered, Mortal, the
Oh.
one with the Thor guy. And I was like, I literally, if I had been in her shoes, I would have followed him to the ends of the earth. I have to see this through, my boy. Like, so
She
I
almost took off on him when he went in to see the Uncle
did,
Rico character that was slapping his
Damn.
balls.
What?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
He looked like
Yeah.
fucking Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite, dude.
It was the tanning
Oh, okay.
salon guy.
Tanning
It was
salon
like
guy,
his,
yeah.
it was like his first stop.
And when he walked in there, he's like slapping his nuts or something. I don't know. He was doing something focused on his crotch. So
But what I don't understand is why, if Jack Death is so fucking smart, why he left the fucking keys in the car?
Show a sign
Because-
of trust.
he was instantly in love, like our boy Stefan.
I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired.
There's
Like
something
Stefan,
about
but
her.
much cuter.
There's something about her. She's not like the other
different.
girls. She didn't look at me and puke because I'm an old fuck.
because she was fucking Phil, and I'm pretty sure that Phil was balding. He had to have been.
She liked old guys. Well, I mean, she was dating some crust punk guy that she saw in that thing and Grandpa got in a fight with. That was hilarious.
Kicked his ass.
Talk about that for a second because I thought that guy was so fucking dumb. Okay, comes out like, oh, why don't you talk to me anymore? And she's like, oh, I told you to leave me alone. And he says to her, oh, you still have some of my CDs or whatever. And she's like, I'll drop them off at your mom's house. He goes, hey, why don't you buy me a drink? What the fuck? Like, why is that the next thing that you're gonna say?
They were not CDs. They were cassette tapes.
Oh.
You have my tapes. It sounds so weird, dude. I also like
Whistler.
how whenever Whistler closes in, they put a motherfucking teapot sound in the background.
That's awesome.
No, and the reason why I didn't notice that is because anytime they show Whistler, all I notice about him is that his teeth look like chiclets. That's all I noticed. About
He is an intense bitch, and he's got that Agent Smith vibe too. So it's like
Yes.
Agent Smith and the guy from Unsolved Mysteries have
a love child.
Yeah.
This is what happened. This podcast is rated E, not for everyone. Oh my god. No. So then they had to track down this homeless guy before Whistler killed him because tell me again why?
He's the ancestor of the last council member, apparently. If you kill their ancestors.
They cease to exist or whatever, right?
Okay, that makes sense.
That's like every time travel thing ever. I think there was even an episode of Family Guy like that.
I would love to cease to exist. That's like a good way to go.
I don't want to, and I'm not going.
But the other thing that I thought was hilarious is that weird last name thing. His name was Whistler or something like that. And it's like, oh, I wonder who that is. Totally like normal guy, not Whistler at all.
Miss me with that. I can't. They're very lazy in some places, but honestly.
I just found the whole thing annoying. He talked like really cheesy. Do we really need that to understand that it's Whistler in the guy's body? And then like afterwards, he's like, oh, where am I? Like, and why did he get like the nerdiest motherfucker? Like, go back further. Find better ancestry. I don't know.
Like, this one's a dweeb. Give me another one. A bunch of siblings or whatever. Like, could you just pick? They're like, no, I don't want this one. Give me that one. That one's buff. That one works out. Let me get that one.
Look at the Viking. And then you find the one that's the little girl, and then you just beat the little girl.
That scene was probably the funniest scene to me because Jack was trying to get it in with Helen Hunt, and right when he's trying to give her the really old business. I'm never gonna score. That was very baby oopsie of you, damn it! And you were covering your mouth.
Beavis wanted to America. Never gonna score.
Grandpa Highcock would get it. He was around when that was.
He was around. That was his era, dude. He was a young fox then, a young silver fox.
No, I feel like he was born old. Sorry.
I mean, he's full on gray at this point. It happens to the best of us. I've got a lot of grays.
No, it's not the same. Oh, not the same.
But he's got sexy grandpa energy, and I've got unsexy grandpa energy.
I'm sorry, my stomach just did this thing.
It's like matter and antimatter. I'm the anti-god. He's the god.
He had dark hair in the beginning.
Well, he was probably wearing a wig.
Never.
Or just for men.
So he was trying to give her the old business. And one of his friends from the future comes back, but his only ancestor was a little girl. So the little girl was trying to step and was like, you gotta come back. I have my orders. And he was like, nah. And she sneaks up there and lasers him back. And that's when he has to convince the old lady that he's actually the right man for the job, which I'm just like, how have they not invented a way to communicate with each other throughout the time? So she could like check in and know instead of like dragging him all the way back through time.
I think it was Whistler. He says something about if the girl survives, she marries Grandpa Megadeth and they go on and have a family or whatever. And that's the line that comes down and eventually creates Jack Death in the future. So if Whistler knows this, why the fuck doesn't the council know this? Is he some kind of special oracle? And if so, why aren't they trying to befriend him? What's the bad blood here? I don't get it. Why are they fighting? Shouldn't they explain that? Shouldn't they give us some hint? Maybe it's in Trancers 2 or Trancers 1.5 or Trancers 6.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Phantasm went and created a whole fucking series of what the fuck, not explaining it till Ravager, which is Phantasm 5, so no.
Phantasm is better than this.
Yes. There's no fingers that become flies or
old man that is a woman and then becomes an old man while he's getting fucked.
This is literally just grandpa trying to get it in and save a homeless man, and that's it. And he only succeeds at one. Guess which one?
So I was gonna say, kind of an important point that I forgot was at the end. Doesn't he get stuck in like Phil, and then he's like, "Well, I like it here anyway." So how the fuck does that work?
How does he make himself?
Yeah.
Well, how could he come back down and save himself? I don't
My mind is
understand.
fucked.
I don't understand.
Phil is just an old man with skid marks in his tidy whities. Grandpa Megadeth is a time-traveling alpha cop obsessed with rubbing moist things in his hair.
Ew, it's true.
Also, somehow, when they're eating Chinese food on the run from Whistler, he like sneaks a message in to the fortune cookie, and it says,
Yeah.
"I'll kill you and your bitchin' girlfriend," which is
Hot.
Okay, but you know what's not, and what I'm confused about?
yeah.
They didn't send him back with any fucking money. They didn't send him back with money. How did they think he was gonna do anything with no money?
Well, obviously, Phil Deathton is a rich
He's
guy.
not though, because she said after the Chinese food they were out of money. He's like, let's take a taxi. We're broke. How the fuck? Let me hotwire these little scoots real quick. Just look away.
Maybe
no.
they don't understand because they're from the future where, there's a great communist society where no money, no class. Something's going on in that future.
Sketchy. It's
Was it LA underwater?
Yeah, LA was underwater. Well, that's where he was scuba diving in the second scene. When McNulty comes to get him because the council wants him to go do the mission, he says, "Damn it, Jim, the council needs you," which why the fuck did you call him Jim? And then Grandpa, because he is a fucking alpha, says, "Fuck him." But then, of course, he gets bitch slapped by the council and has to go do the mission.
I mean, is Grandpa an alpha or a sigma? Because, he kind of has that quiet,
I don't know, but he's probably an Aquarius. Aquarius with a Capricorn placement somewhere there too.
That's like the only thing I will agree on.
I was calling the little girl boss. I felt like Grandpa Highcock was Gaslight. Phil Deathton is maybe gatekeep because he's gatekeeping that pussy.
It is not Phil Deathton's fault that this motherfucker keeps jumping into his body. He has no idea. He's like, how the fuck did I get? Well, her titties are out. I'm just gonna go for it.
Who wouldn't? What happens to poor Phil Deathton? Does he just like stay back and his brains on?
Jack
freeze?
ate him. No,
Yeah,
he's dead. He's gone. He squeezed
He
the
ragooned
soul
that
out.
bitch.
He didn't even have to use little thick demon fingers.
Yeah, true.
Oh my god. When McNulty pulled Highcock back in time again to get chewed out by the council lady, he calls Helen Hunt cotton candy.
Yes.
That's
What does
their
that mean?
slang
Yeah.
for like a hot girl. So
We also called her
What the-
skirt when he was in the little girl's body.
they're at the same time in 1947, which happens to be how old Grandpa Highcock is, and in like 23.
They don't know how to think in future font.
Mm-mm.
There's no creativity up here.
Well, how high was this budget? They did get Helen Hunt.
Yeah.
They did and probably spent it all on Helen Hunt.
She was probably pretty new though then.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, but she had to kiss him.
Pay her a cool mill for that.
Okay, I don't
Fuck yeah.
know if this
I'll-
is actually accurate. I don't know how this translates to modern day, but it says 400,000.
In 1985. It's the equivalent of 847,214. So it's still pretty low budget, I would say.
Yeah.
We're not breaking a mill on this.
Not
So that
crazy.
means she was severely underpaid for having to. And I'm assuming like Tim Thomerson was the star of this.
You got 300,000 or whatever. It was
Yeah.
done.
He probably got some chicken wings and a six pack. The funny thing is, in production notes in here, which again, I'm looking at Wikipedia. I'm not a nerd, so I'm not going to research, but it says the idea for the film came from the producer's admiration of Humphrey Bogart's work. Tell me how. Explain this. to
Your
me.
eye twitched. Your whole eye twitched.
Take me from point A to point B with this motherfucker. Come on.
But
Tell me.
I can't and I won't. Can't.
Oh my God, Neil Gaiman liked it.
Really?
He said it was
Oh.
funny, comic book, and fun. I enjoyed it immensely. Me too. In my
Same.
head, Neil Gaiman is a fan of Grandpa Highcock.
I can't say anything
Sexy
more.
grandpa energy recognizes sexy grandpa energy. Just saying.
I only agree with half.
Okay, Steph, what's your ranking
I
of
can see half of
Trancers?
it.
I would honestly rather watch Baby Oopsie, so this is at the bottom. Sorry.
A single tear. Nate?
I mean, are we gonna rate it by which ones I fall asleep during? Because this one will be low too, along with subspecies.
Fair.
I don't know what the fuck happened, so I don't know. NA.
Okay. I would say I didn't like this as much as Dollman. This is definitely below
No.
Dollman for me. I'm going to put it below Baby Oopsie. Because Tim Thomerson's in it, I'm going to put it above Subspecies. As much as that pains me because those thick demons, they're my
Can you
babies.
please just take Timerson out of the equation for a second and then rate him? How about that?
I still would rather watch this than Evil Bong.
Yeah.
Problem is Dick Fingers and his moaning and his booty demons, they are very entertaining. I love that. It was also
Yeah.
boring though. With this one, after the boss comes back as a little girl, I got bored. And with the other one, after they go to the festival, I got bored. So it was like pretty much right before the last beat. And that's supposed to be the most exciting part of the movie. And I
Yeah.
checked out both times.
I can concur, but this one didn't hold me anyway.
I think the only difference between this and Evil Bong is I felt like I could keep up with Evil Bong, but it felt like a slog. So at least this one let me fall asleep. That's where I'm at.
Fall asleep to Grandpa's Highcock's sexy ass voice.
Damn right. Had lots of good dreams, I'm sure. I don't remember them, but I was probably dreaming of them.
I gotta go.
Yep, let's wrap this bitch up.
You can find this podcast on the interwebs at ghostinthemagazine.site. You can find it on Twitter at CITM Podcast, and you can follow me on Twitter at WoodchuckPudding.
You can follow me at Nocturnical.
Follow me at Bad Ben Pimp 69, man.
Woo! Okay, bye!